Welcome in to kick off the tip off with Noah and Gage. Here to cover something we haven't hit on much this year, but West Virginia baseball coming off the super regional loss to LSU. Gage was a hell of a run for the Mountaineers baseball team. Exciting to see them get that far and deep into play. A lot of people have some mixed, controversial opinions on this, but I'm going to put it into what I'd call an expert's hand here. He won't toot his own horn over there. But Gage, how do you feel about the situation?
Yeah, man, just a lot of hostility. I think I saw on X today, Twitter, as I still like to call it. But I think everybody needs to take a deep breath. Okay, and here's why: it has always been like this. It will forever be like this, and it's just there's no way around it. College baseball gets put on the back burner for kind of these Power Four schools. For a lot of them, SEC it means a ton, but in our case, right, Big 12. I would say that there's 25 to 30% of the fan base who is kind of a diehard college baseball fan, if that makes sense. But majority of the people watch football and basketball. That's fair to say. I would agree that you would agree with that, correct?
Yeah, that's a good range to say that 85, 90% of viewership is on football and basketball. The other 10% is baseball.
Correct. So obviously, when you have a team as good as West Virginia for really the past, you know, 5, 6, 7 years, as long as this thing has been building, when you get to these sort of games, right, the playoffs where it's regional, super regionals, you get a huge audience. You get you get fans from all types of, come in and watch these games. So the 5 games that they played within the regional and then super regional down Baton Rouge, everything that you do is so elevated because there's so many more eyes on you. And that's kind of where you see the why can't we pitch? Why can't we field? Why can't we this? And it's like, buddy, you've just watched 5 games out of the 60 of the season, right? I think it's actually like 56, 58, something like that. But you're only watched 5 games. And it just so happens that even, winning the regional with these numbers about to present, Noah, is phenomenal in itself. It shows how talented this team was to kind of override these mistakes, right? Through the 5 games, including the 2 in LSU in the Super Regional, 13 fielding errors, 41 walks and hit by pitch. So if you do the math on that, of the 41 walks and hit by pitch, that is basically over those 5 games spotting teams just together 10 runs. 10 runs. In the 5 games, you're basically saying, however many runs that we need to score over the period of five games to beat a team, you guys start with 10. That's from the walks, hit by pitch, all that. Mix in the errors. Like I said, when all that stuff kind of combines together and there's so many people watching, it's easy for people to come on here and be like, we're let down again. The famous meme of let West Virginia Athletics lower me in my casket one more time so I can be let down or something like that. It's okay, guys. It's okay. The West Virginia got I don't want to say a terrible pull, because if you're going to make it to the super region and then make it to Omaha, you have to beat one of these LSU teams who, 2 years ago, 2023, Dylan Cruz, Paul Skeens, ton of draft picks. This year, I would, just going through the roster and kind of being in the realm of it, I would imagine that they have about 8 to 11 draft picks on the team this year between the arms and position players. So it's okay, guys. We ran into a really good team, and this doesn't define West Virginia baseball. If anything, it goes to show, now you're thinking 13 errors, 41 free bases on the mound, and we were 2 wins away from Omaha. That's kind of where I'm at with things, Noah. I know a lot of people are. We'll kind of get into Coach Sabins here in a minute, and obviously we got to talk about the Grant Hussey situation. But to you, like you said, I kind of just know a little bit more about this. What are your thoughts on those 13 errors, 41? The pitching obviously was a struggle from the entire playoffs, but, that's baseball, man. It's streaky.
And, Gage, watching this team over the course of the year, because I will say that I at least watched one game out of every 2 series this team played, right? So was definitely a little bit more involved in the season than the average viewer. But there is a little bit of a difference in how I see baseball than a guy like yourself who played college baseball, view the game. So just on my perspective, from what you told me statistically there, if you're getting guys on bases and then you're making errors, I don't know how many times I watched last night in LSU. There's a pop fly in the air, guy doesn't make the play. If you are able to overcome that, 3 out of the 5 times, that's pretty damn good, and that tells you that you hit the ball pretty well, right? That's just from my perspective. You're hitting the ball well, or you're putting yourself in situations to manufacture runs. Just looking at it, whenever you play a team like LSU, you have to play flawless baseball because there's so much talent on the other side. And fortunately for Morgantown and the Mountaineers this year, they were able to play some error filled baseball and win because they had more talent. They were the LSU compared to a team like, let's say,
UCF.
Oklahoma. Yeah, UCF. Yeah. They were just the better team, where now we were the team with maybe a little bit of lesser talent on the roster compared to a team that's going to have, 10, 15 draft prospects on.
Yeah, and that's the fun of college baseball, right? You look at a team like Coastal Carolina, they just beat Auburn to go to Omaha, and Murray State is currently playing Duke for a chance to go. So it's like, you can't sit here and be like, well, the better team is always going to win. Like football, a mid-major, we're going to see it with West Virginia versus Robert Morris. Robert Morris has no chance. Let's just be honest. They know that. We know that. If they lose, we'll shut down the channel. It's kind of as simple as that. But baseball, it's just so much different. And, I'm not even sitting here saying that the level of talent is a gap from mid-major to us. Like the gap is closer. We are closer to LSU than we are mid-major. That's what I'm trying to say. But, yeah, man, like I said, it just puts in perspective how this team, makes it to the Super. And I want to say this too. These guys are my age, our age, 22, 21, somewhere in there. They're still human, man. I'm sure it was not in a bad way, but some nerves obviously kicking in. These are big games. Baton Rouge is not an easy environment to play in, specifically baseball, Noah. I kind of think when you're fielding and people don't understand how hard just a routine ground ball is. Like I seriously don't think people understand how hard a 100 to 105 exit velocity ground ball coming to you is hard to field. And they make it look easy. Not me anymore, but they make it look easy. Okay. Mistakes happen. They're amplified in these sort of moments. And that's the things that just the small little details that you have to clean up to be one of those final 8 teams that make it to Omaha. And I'll kind of transition over to this, Noah, because a lot of the talk now was, well, is Coach Sabins the right guy? Did he push the right buttons with the bullpen? Did he do that? A lot of questions about that. And my answer is he's not perfect. Like, I'm not sitting here saying that he's the best coach in college baseball history. But guess what? Nobody is. He led this program to its greatest season in his first season. I mean, for people to sit here and say, well, he's terrible. He's not this. Not like, get him out. What? What are you talking about? Like, I don't think people understand how big of an achievement making the super regional is. Yes, it's disappointing that you don't make it to the World Series. Yes, it's disappointing that this kind of whole thing with West Virginia sports dating back to when we were, just growing up being kids. It's like they can never get over the hump, right? But to discredit what that group accomplished, I can't stand for it, man, because we're talking about college baseball, a team where you come in for your fall semester, you grind through the entire fall practices, go home for your maybe 2.5 months of winter break. And these guys have been at it since literally late January, maybe mid-January. And you got to think out-of-state kids know stuff like that. These guys haven't even had a chance to go home in damn near half a year. So just coming from that perspective, I'm super proud. Obviously know a couple guys on the team, played with them from time to time, and what they accomplished can't be taken away from them. And I know that they know that deep down. It was really special to watch. And I think now the next step, because it's no longer a question of, how do we develop talent and get it to the next level, right? You have everything you could want. Awesome ballpark, awesome facilities. They had that new center built. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. I'll have to post it up here for player development specifically. The next step is just how can we, and this is not a shot at anybody on the team or anything like that, but how can we accumulate the right pieces, right, to finally make the jump, to get to the final 8 teams in Omaha? And I'm not saying maybe some of that is players. Maybe that is some of reflection with Coach Sabin just being like, yeah, I could have did that differently. I can learn from this. I can be a better coach from this. And so again, you sit here and it sounds negative, but it's really not because, like you said, it's detail work. That's as small as it is. I think that this has just been blown way out of proportion, and it really comes down to these are just minor mistakes of throw the ball, field the ball, hit the ball. It's a simple game, man. People say it all the time, but it really is. It's a simple game.
Oh yeah, Engage. When you hit into that, it's like all the things that could have went wrong for West Virginia kind of did. And especially that first game we're looking at where I think LSU went up to a 10-1 lead there. What are we fought back into that game, and that's something that you kind of speaks to this team all year if you were able to watch them was resiliency. They never gave up, and that's a good group of guys to have in a locker room, in any locker room, whether that be baseball, football, or basketball. Having guys that are willing to go out there and not give up or roll over at any point of the game. I think it was the Kentucky game I'm watching, and I'm like, man, there's no way these guys come back. I turn back on the TV and it's 12-12. We're getting ready to go into the ninth inning. I'm like, oh shit, buckle up here. So this team itself, if anything, Sabins can take from building this team is there was a very, very good culture in this locker room, and that's something they can build off going into the next season.
And that's the thing, right? The game that you're talking about against Kentucky, that's where they put up the 6-run, 8th inning to come all the way back and then obviously get the big 3 outs in the top of the ninth to win the Super Region. And everybody obviously knows the stories. They're playing music over us trying to sing Country Roads. We wouldn't want it any other way. We know the disrespect is going to come. But no, back to your point. Yeah, the resilience of this offense to put up those big innings, right? It's so easy, especially Baton Rouge Super Regional Game 1, to go down. I have it in front of me here, 10-1 at one point. It's so easy in the dugout to just kind of be like, yeah, bro, like, this is it, man. It's top 6. Like we have no chance. But that's not and never will be the case with this. You said the top of the 6 in that Game 1, they respond with a 4-run first inning. Or I'm sorry, it was 5-7 going in the 6th. It was 7-1, and then they had the 4-run, and then they gave up a big bottom of the 6th. So, but the point I'm getting at is, yeah, this was a team that was kind of the story of the playoffs, right? There was no quit. The offense just continuously working. It was great at bat after great at bat, specifically in that Clemson region. I thought it was just like, I mean, even when it got to the point of like hitter goes down 0-2, 1-2, something like that. It's foul ball, grounded out AB. And then I just said this to somebody today. I love the balance that Coach Sabins has of what we know as Maisie ball, which is the small ball, bunting, stealing home, all of the crazy shit that they do. I think he does a really good job at balancing that with letting guys be guys, man. Sometimes when the bats are clicking, the bats are hot, don't touch anything. Don't call anything. Let the guys do the thing. I think somebody that really benefited from that in that Clemson regional was Armani Guzman there in the 9-hole. A 9-hole typically is a guy that runner on first, less than however many outs, 2 outs. Maybe you're looking to get a bunt, roll over the top of the order, things like that. But when you have your 9-hitter swinging the way that Guzman was at the time, you just reap the benefits because the guy just gets up there, hits a double, hits a single, RBIs all over the place. So I think he found a really good balance. And I think leading into next season, he's going to have a pretty good idea of a lineup construction from an offensive standpoint. And there will be some pieces that we're going to be missing. And that's kind of just roster turnover in general for all sports. But we'll see. I would look for this offseason for baseball to be an interesting one in terms of transfer. Like, are we a school now where people are saying, hey, like, awesome place to play home games, great for my development, good coaching staff. Like, this could be a place where if I'm a big-time player, I'm, like, itching to go.
I think something to hit on their Gage with that coaching staff comments. This is with the success we had this season and the youth of the coaching staff, right? They're here to stay for a while. So these guys that are transferring, in the transfer portal and or young talent, coming out of high school, it's going to just pull itself, gravitate towards West Virginia because they already had the most successful season they've ever had, in the university's baseball history. And then additionally, you run into the sense of being able to be a good, a good recruiting aspect.
Yeah, definitely. And that's just that's kind of the what's next step for West Virginia baseball, right? Where can we polish in terms of roster construction? Kind of usually every team, every coach has a board. Hey, we're losing this. We need to accumulate this. You're going different places, and that's kind of how the transfer portal and how crazy things are now. I know the baseball team's already dipped into the Division II level, brought in a guy who looks pretty good, pitcher from FIU, I believe it is. So they're at work already, man. It never stops, and it's just kind of college sports in general. So last thing we kind of touch on, Noah, we got to talk about, I mean, everybody's been talking about it, and it was kind of the theme for West Virginia baseball outside of the success that they had, was obviously Grant Hussey not playing in the regional and super regional games. Ben Lumsden played first base over him. And I'm not going to sit here and have some bold take of like, he should be playing, something like that. I think it's as simple as this, right? From a statistical standpoint, yes, Hussey should have been playing. 272, I'm looking at it right now this year. 54 strikeouts to 22 walks. People will be like, well, the strikeout rate's an issue. No, it's not. Program home run leader. So it's like, statistically, he should have been playing, right? And that's nothing against Lumsden. I mean, he's end of the season here hitting 160, but I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, he should be playing because of this reason. We don't know, all right? It's as simple as that. I'm not going to sit here and speculate and kind of, we don't know. And until we know or he comes out and says something, it's kind of as simple as that. So I didn't like that it got ugly there on Twitter today. Obviously, Hussey kind of tweeting some things, and I understand the frustration. It's like he literally tweeted slap in the face, and that's what it is as a player when he kind of had the career that he did for West Virginia baseball. It definitely sucks to just kind of sit there as you're going out and watch the success and not really feel a part of it because you're not getting ABs and you're kind of coming in as that defensive replacement late in the game, stuff like that. So I completely understand his side. And then I completely understand kind of the lineup construction and Lumsden playing. It's like you can't sit here and play the game. Well, he would have got a hit here. He would have did this because Lumsden had big hits. He had a home run in LSU, a couple sacrifice bunts, I believe. So it's like it's kind of that butterfly effect, right? You can't go back in time and change it because you don't know what you would have missed out with Lumsden. It's a touchy situation, man. So I kind of feel for both sides of it. And like I said, I'm interested to see if you have a take on it because from my perspective, I've kind of saw both sides, been on both sides of it. And it's like, it absolutely sucks, but it's hard to sit here and be like, I don't know. It's a tough situation.
And the thing here is I'm going to focus on where I think a lot of West Virginia fans should focus on is I don't know enough about the situation to draw my, final conclusion outside of numbers that you just stated there as should he have played, should he have not played. But the thing is, the only thing that West Virginia fans are doing with the speculation behind this and the trash talk on Twitter is hurting the program, right? There's no benefit of you. Other recruits are watching what's happening, right? And by you going on there and saying X, Y, or Z, it becomes a problem and they start to look at Sabins as, oh man, why was he so bad? We don't know what happened behind closed doors, nor will we ever. I don't think Hussey's going to come out and speak about it, and I don't think Sabins is going to come out and speak on, as to why it was. If it was, it could have possibly just been based off numbers or strike anything. We don't know.
That's what I mean. No, it could literally just be as simple as matchups, with certain pitchers, certain starting pitchers, stuff like that. It could be as little as that. I mean, that's why I don't think that it needs to be blown out of proportion. And then once, you have a guy who's starting and maybe going 1 for 3, maybe going 1 for 4, it's like it's tough to pull him right out of the lineup and just kind of play that revolving door game because it's hard to find consistency. And any hitter will tell you that, right? I have a really high respect for guys who can come off the bench and be a good pinch hitter like Chase Swain. I think he had maybe 3. I don't remember off the top of my head. Just kind of pinch hits like, hey, it's bottom of the 7th or somewhere late in the game. You're hitting for here, like, let's go. And then he hopped up and single up the middle, things like that. It's like people don't understand how hard that is because you're sitting on the bench and you haven't swung since pregame BP. So it's like, all right, here we go. And then I thought every arm that they faced kind of in the playoffs was obviously like a dominant power arm, right? And that's what you're going to get when you're playing the best teams. It's low to mid. In LSU case, that last game they played, Zach Cowan, he was pumping like 100, 101. So it's like these aren't just roll over easy ABs, right? I mean, these are tough, grinded out every single time. Doesn't matter who you're facing. So,
And that's what
go ahead.
kind of hitting on that, Gage, just like looking at the Super Regional when you're playing LSU, not saying that on our best night we couldn't beat LSU, but the big thing to realize is LSU has a lot of talent. And for us to beat LSU, we needed to play a perfect game. And LSU needed to make some mistakes, and LSU played some really good baseball this weekend, and that's why they're walking into Omaha right now.
Yeah, it's as simple as that, man. I think we came on here tonight. By the time you're watching this tomorrow, at some point, just kind of being the peacemaker, man. You just sometimes you need people to come in here, just settle everything down, relax. Nothing to be fired up about, things like that. Phenomenal season, man. 44-16, 19-9 in Big 12. Obviously, Big 12 champions, something that we didn't even touch on. So, obviously, a lot of stuff that this group accomplished and will kind of set the foundation, right? Now that the standard has kind of been set. And when I say that, I'm not saying that the standard is a Big 12 championship every year, but that is obviously the goal. And the program now is to continuously compete, right? We talk about football all the time, where the way that football is kind of structured, we as West Virginia football fans would be okay with competing for a bowl game every 3 years, and then college football playoffs every 5 years, every 6 years. The beauty of college baseball, because there's so many teams that get to go into the region, you have this chance to every single year give yourself an opportunity to make it to Omaha. And I think that that's kind of where they stand right now. And I have no doubt in my mind that within the next 3 to 5 years, we'll see them crack it in. I guess there's my hot take for tonight. 3 to 5 years, man, they'll make a berth, and we'll be watching West Virginia baseball in Omaha. I really believe that.
One question here, Gage. We always have this little segment here. So obviously, we know this was back-to-back years making it to the Super Regionals. Will West Virginia baseball make it to the Super Regionals again next year? Putting you on the hot seat.
Oh, next year. Yeah, man. You know what? Yeah, I'll say yes because of one reason. And it's like this with all sports teams, but I really, truly believe that baseball culture, right? Your locker room, as I said, like the vibe and kind of culture of the locker room means a ton. And when you have a really large group that's going to be returning next year, these guys are going to set the standard for anybody new walking in the door. Like, hey, this is our goal. This is where we're trying to go. We're not coming here to enjoy the ride, enjoy Morgantown. Like, yes, you'll have your times to hit High Street, go out and enjoy yourself, believe me. But we have a goal. And I think now, like I said earlier in this, the standard is set. Like, this is what they're going for every single year. And we need to see Morgantown host Super Region. I know everybody was kind of Little Rock fans there for a while when they stole Game 1 versus LSU. So a Super Region in West Virginia would be phenomenal for the program, because we know what it looked like when they hosted a regional. The Alec Manoa year obviously led to that terrible Grand Slam walk-off that's so hard to even talk about by A&M. But anyway, yeah, no, my answer is yes. I think they'll get back. Of course I'm going to say yes. What kind of question is that?
I think that's all I got here, Gage. I think this was a very insightful for people that just tuned in to the regional gameplay there for the Mountaineers. So I think this was very, kind of like informational for the viewer.
Yeah, man, I hope so. Like I said, kind of just being the peacemaker. So, guys, we appreciate it as always. If you've watched this far and you're still hanging around, I do have something special to say. We will be having hopefully our first guest coming on here very soon, and we'll give a little bit more insight into West Virginia baseball than what Noah and I ever could. So that should be fun, and I hope that everything works out. And yeah, man, like I said, I'm super proud of this group as just a fan, and obviously some of the individual success that some of these guys had that I got to play with. It's awesome to see. There's talent. I will say this real quick. There is talent in the state of West Virginia that can play at this level. It's demonstrated this year by Kyle West, who hit 339, 11 home runs, and obviously Jace, who had can't drop the F-bomb on YouTube, I suppose, but that's basically what my reaction was when he hit that ball versus LSU. And then obviously Ben, kind of his huge moment there in the Clemson region. So awesome season, man. Work to do. Job's not finished. They'll be back at it next year without a doubt. So as always, guys, we appreciate you watching. We'll see you later.